I'm Rose, and what I wanted to show you is how to make what we call in our family crack. So basically what we're going to start off with is aluminum foil. You're going to take a cookie sheet and you're going to line it with aluminum foil. So this recipe, I was watching Food Network one time, and Trisha Yearwood, she's the one that had made this, and she says how her family calls it crack, and basically we just started calling it the same thing. So once your pan is lined, you want to spray it with Pam. And then you're going to put saltine crackers. The saltine crackers, you put the salt side down. It says you need to use 30 to 40 of them. I have a bigger than normal cookie sheet, so I end up by using a little over a sleeve or so. So, we'll just get these put in. I guess one of the reasons that they call it crack is because it's very addicting. It has chocolate, kind of like a toffee on it, and just one piece will never do. So, let's get this almost done. I know when my kids say that they're bringing crack to school, they kind of get a couple looks and everything. But it's still good. So once you get this lined with the saltine crackers, what you need to do is you need to have your oven set on 425, but then you're also going to need to melt 2 sticks of butter. And as I said, because my cookie sheet's a little bigger than the normal one, I'm going to do a little bit more than 2 sticks. I'm going to melt 2 sticks of butter, and normally it's a cup of brown sugar, but I'm going to do a little bit more. Then you have 1 cup of brown sugar. I use the light brown sugar. So you're going to melt it all together. So I basically, with my recipe, I'm doing 2½ sticks of butter and 1 1/4 cup of brown sugar. So now it just takes a minute or 2 just for this to melt up. So what you want to do is you want to get it melting and then have it kind of like a little bit of a caramelized. You'll see once it gets all melted, I'll show you what it looks like. You kind of want to be careful not to overboil it. This recipe is actually pretty quick and easy. Once you boil it, you're going to put it on top. You bake it for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then you're going to put it in the freezer to harden afterwards. So you do have it, so it's kind of like a caramel. It comes out, I guess, caramel toffee. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it over the saltines. And you just want to kind of spread it evenly. Once it goes in the oven, you kind of want to keep an eye on it because it's going to start to bubble. So you don't want it to boil up too much on it. Let's make sure all this is covered. There we go. So now I'm going to take and put it into the oven. Second. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take it out of the oven. Now you want to kind of be careful when you start moving it because of the caramel, it kind of is sliding all over the place. So normally it calls for about 1.5 cups of the chocolate chips. But because, again, as mine is bigger, I use a whole bag, and we kind of like chocolate anyways. So you want to just sprinkle it on it at first, and the heat from everything is going to melt it. Okay. So we're just going to get this all over. We all like chocolate, so to me, the more chocolate, the better. So now, you just want to wait a minute or two. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll maybe just stick it back in the oven once it starts melting a little bit, just to kind of give it a head start melting. But this is kind of really hard. When you see the chocolate, you can see it start melting. It kind of gets a little bit shiny. Now remember, your pan is hot because it has been in the oven, so you just want to be careful. I use a flat spatula. It kind of helps spread it a little bit. To me, using the rubber spatula kind of sticks to it. This is a lot easier. So once you get it started, you can see that it starts to all come together. There, now that you've got it all covered, basically what you want to do at this point is you want to take and stick it in the freezer until the chocolate hardens. They say it takes about 15-20 minutes. Now what I usually do is I have another cookie sheet that I put in my freezer just because I don't want the heat from this one melting anything that's already in the freezer. So we're just going to take this and we'll stick it in the freezer. Back and we can crack it open. Welcome back. So now that we've let the crack cool, we're going to take it out of the freezer. So as you can tell, it's all nicely frozen. So basically what you can do at this point is you can either break it up by hand or use a knife, whichever way is easier for you. It just basically comes right apart like that, and you can break it up into whatever size pieces you want. So I just kind of break it up. I try not to do too big of pieces because these are very sweet. It is very addicting. So to me, if they're smaller pieces, I don't feel as bad when I have a bunch of them. So that's usually why I take a bunch of small ones. So then at this point, you just either put them into a container or a plastic bag, whichever one you want. We keep it either in the freezer or the fridge. You just kind of want to keep it cool because you don't want the chocolate to melt all over your hands when you're going to eat it. So basically at this point, your crack is all done. It's very tasty. very good. I'll have another piece. So enjoy, make your own.